Yes, Kate, I'm certainly pushing against cyberbullying, which Bright touched on earlier. I'll be talking about Idris Olanrewaju Okuneye, aka Bobrisky. The topic of my advocacy today is called the dystopia called Nigeria. So it is no longer news that Bobrisky was arrested on the 3rd of March for currency mutilation and money laundering. She was arraigned, convicted, and sentenced to 6 months in prison for mutilation of the naira. It happened at such speed that confirmed what our judiciary can actually do and how fast they can move should they wish to. See, today, for this week's advocacy, I was torn between addressing the criminalization of currency called spraying, which actually is a traditional practice of the Yoruba people with an etymology that dates back to the days of Owo Eyo. Yes, the days before the Oyimbos could make their way to Nigeria. But I'm going to save that for another day. Why? Because I'm driven by humanity. So here we are, at an ugly junction where the majority has been co-opted into what can only be described as nationwide cyberbullying. Nigeria's dystopian mentality is stripping the citizens of empathy. You see, Bobrisky is a cross-dresser entertainer with a female alter ego, and she is transgender, but she is in the process of transgendering. She is not the first cross-dresser in Nigeria, neither will she be the last. So you see, the moment Bobrisky was sentenced to 6 months and it was announced in the press, I was immediately gripped with fear. Fear for her safety and well-being in prison. Primarily because, let's be honest, Bobrisky is a cause celeb that's controversial for the rest of you. So, however, the subsequent promise from the Nigerian prison service that they would look after her, for me, was more hollow than a discarded pure water nylon. However, I am no fan of Bob's work or her personality, but I am a firm believer that each person deserves their happy, as long as they are not causing harm to another or stealing from our commonwealth. Yet, correct me if I'm wrong, never, and I repeat, never have I witnessed such unprecedented level of cyberbullying on the national scale since Bob was arrested. It is beyond our conservative moral judgment culture. No, 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 no. It is on a form and it's on par with an indoctrinated form of hatred. An indoctrination and a level of hatred that should concern us all. You see, the deafening decibels of derision, humiliation, and dehumanization of a fellow citizen is one that I personally would not wish on my worst enemy. Then, as if the opprobrium was not harmful enough, the Nigerian prison service revved up the gear by releasing a statement to confirm the genitalia of their newest inmate. And worse still, even senior journalists on primetime morning TV joined that repulsive bandwagon to echo in the mockery. What a country. You see, Bob's acerbic tongue and boastful mouth are part of the colors of her lifestyle and entertainment value. The same entertainment value that gained her 5 million followers on Instagram, for which she is able to charge handsomely as a brand influencer. So while I respect your prerogative to detest her as it might bother your waters, I'd like you to remember this. You cannot create her. So, now that the national degradation of Idris Olanrewaju is complete, I hope those who cheered, justified, rejoiced at the deprecation and objectification of another soul, including the Nigerian prison service, are fully satisfied. You see, I will continue to pray for Bob to get an early release, especially as she is a first-time offender who also pleaded guilty. But I'm going to leave you with this. Injustice is that rod that's used to crucify one citizen while cooling gently in the freezer for the next citizen. So you see, eventually, we all pay the price, one way or the other.